a lot of people have been telling me recently that they're struggling with their cold email campaigns. They're telling me, oh, my ICP, they're getting so many emails. I don't know what to do, right? Like, how do I actually break through this problem I have? Like, why am I not booking meetings with cold email? And in this video, I aim to essentially diagnose the thing that's going on here, and I will give you two things, sort of elements that are at play here and that you're lacking. So what's going on right now in the cold email space, right? So what's going on is that back in 2020, if I can type here, this was the amount of emails being sent to business owners and different departments in the companies. Now it's this, right? This is what it looks like now. And the reason for that is simply just the evolving sales technology, right? So there's different sequences you can use now to automate outreach. A lot of people are starting to pick it up, and that's why the quantity of emails being sent has increased. Now, instead of sort of having that, sort of taking that and prematurely concluding that it's dead, oh, I have to give up now. Instead of doing that, you have to become anti-fragile and say, how can I actually leverage this and use it to my advantage? And that's what I'm doing and what I'm doing for my clients at the moment. And I actually think there has never been a better time to use cold email because so many people are giving up, and it's a fun thing to see, and it's an interesting concept, right? So okay, let's go over, like, why is it a problem that there's a lot of saturation? And the problem comes down to basic human psychology, right? So when you have observed something multiple times over a longer period of time, you start to ignore it subconsciously, right? This is the same reason why when you watch, an advertisement on the television, you sort of turn your brain off because you know what's going on, right? You've seen this before, right? You kind of know you have to turn off your brain and wait for the actual show to start again. The same thing is happening with cold email, and that's the reason why you could book, a few meetings while only sending, 100 emails back in the day. It's because it wasn't that common as it is now to see sales emails in your inbox. So you actually took the time to actually read it because it was not it hadn't become a pattern like it is now, right? And a pattern in people's way of checking inboxes. So what that means is that you have to break that pattern, and that's where the first sort of solution comes into play, which is not only using but also understanding how AI works in outbound. So what's happening right now with AI in outbound is that it's becoming a lot cheaper and a lot easier to use, right? So it's becoming very streamlined to do. We have Clay now, Clay.ai, it's an excellent tool, and you can buy the most affordable package on Clay, and you can use ChatGPT API to just like do a bunch of crazy AI personalization. I mean, you don't even have to sort of scrape the most crazy data points. Like, you can use the company description, job title, stuff like that, to actually do some personalization that 99% of people don't do. So to mention an example that I'm doing for a few clients right now is mentioning the name of a colleague of the person we're reaching out to. Now, what this does is that it actually, because most people don't know you can automate that, so they're like, okay, interesting. So he actually spoke to our head of sales before, or he sent an email to our head of sales and me. So he kind of knows like how our organization is structured, like he knows people within our company. So clearly he did some research, right? That's what they're thinking. And what that does is that it interrupts that pattern of just copy-pasted sales emails that they usually see, which can be, kind of, if you want to use an analogy, that would be, you watching an advertisement on the television, and so suddenly they name call somebody that you know. That would actually make you, pay attention, because like, how did they know that? Like, what's going on here? It's the same thing here. So you have to know how to use AI in the correct way, right? It's very important, and it's a skill that's going to become more and more important because it's becoming so powerful. And actually, the way that these AI models work is it's very good for sort of copywriting and adding AI segments to cold emails. It's a lot better at that than it is at math and reasoning, and that's some of the reasons. The reasons for that are more technical when it comes to how an AI actually works in this case, but it's very good for this purpose. It's going to get better and it's going to get cheaper with time, so you better use it. And this is something a lot of people don't do, or if they do it, it's going to be some very basic, BS personalization. So it will be like, Um, they mention the college you went to, or they make some like AI generated joke about the company name. Like, what do I know? Like, it's always something that's not relevant to the actual email, and it's just, yeah, it's gonna turn people off. It's not something that works. Now, this is one thing I would recommend. Now, the next one is a bit more on the technical side, but it is, I would actually say, more important, and it's email deliverability, right? It's what's being discussed by some of the top guys in the cold email community right now. Is, how do you actually ensure good email deliverability? Now, this is not only hard because, like, the thing that makes it hard is not the fact that it's actually like difficult to implement the things that need to be implemented to ensure good email deliverability. The reason why it's hard is because it's constantly changing. So if you're not keeping yourself up to date, if you're not researching what's going on, you're gonna very quickly fall behind. And by quickly, I mean within weeks or months, very fast. That's how it works. I made a video the other day and I mentioned the fact that you now have to. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that you have to do cross ESP matching. So if you have a Google inbox, you want to send to Outlook inboxes and not Google, because Google to Google is very restrictive, right? How would you know this if you're not keeping yourself up to date? If you just build your own in-house system and you use this tool, you wouldn't know. So that's why email deliverability is so important. And honestly, I would say if you really do want to use cold email as a channel, you're going to have to either commit to actually learning this yourself, or you can outsource it to somebody like us and we can come and consult you, right? Which is obviously, if you have the capital for it, that's a good solution, but you can also learn it yourself. So these are the two things that I would very, very highly recommend that people look into if they want to get good at cold email. It's the future of cold email, these two things right here. Because things such as like copywriting and how to structure your offer, how to position your offer in the emails, it's changing as well. It is a dynamic field, but the thing about it is that it's still way more constant and more static than these two things you're seeing on the screen now. Because what you fundamentally do and how you position it will always, be, somewhat the same. But this won't. This will change all the time. So if you're looking for somebody to actually, come into your company, set up the entire system and consult you on how to, make sure that all of this is taken care of, whether you are completely new to cold email or you have some experience with it in-house, we can help you in both cases. So I hope this was helpful. Do let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.